Welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to discuss how to enable terminal console for my voice business on an EX controller. So the EX controller is virtualized. My voice business is virtualized inside my voice business controller as a virtual machine, as a VM inside of an EX controller. So in our case, the EX controller is an IP address of 192.168.1.3, and my voice business is an IP address of 192.168.1.2. So this is a virtual machine inside of the EX controller. So if you want to access the terminal console, ideally you can enable SSH in my voice business. You can enable SSH in my voice business server manager. Then you can SSH onto my voice business, and then it will open a terminal console for you. Then you can run whatever terminal commands that you want. But the direction that we are going, we want to reset the server manager password. We want to reset the server manager password in the event that, number one, we have forgotten what username and password it was. We can say forgotten password or a lost password, or we just don't know it, or the password is unknown, we just don't know it. So we want to access the console for the purpose of resetting the password to the default, or to the one that we will then start using going onwards. So when SSH is enabled, we cannot be fast enough to stop the boot process, or to watch the breakpoint where we need to break the boot and then enter some password recovery commands. So because of that, and also SSH becomes live at a particular point when my voice business is booting, because one of the procedure, one of the steps in the procedure for recovering or resetting a password is to reboot the MIVB and then wait for the Linux splash point where it starts to show, and then you break the boot process. And then once you break the boot process, you are going to enter some commands. So if you are going to SSH is not always live when the machine is just rebooted. It's a service that's going to kick in at a later point during the reboot of my voice business. So as such, we are going to miss the breakpoint if we use SSH, because once my voice business goes down for a reboot, the SSH connection will drop, and then you need to then log in, but SSH becomes live again, becomes accessible again at a later point. So What it then means is that we should not use SSH for this procedure, but we should use the terminal console. We should use the terminal console, because the terminal console is always on. When you are connected to the terminal console, whether I reboot my voice business or not, or during the time my voice business is rebooting, the terminal console is on. So you can be able to catch the breakpoint and enter the commands to recover the password. So how we access the terminal console, we access it through a VNC application, a VNC viewer. So in my case, I use VNC viewer. So we are going to connect VNC viewer to the controller here. We connect our VNC viewer. Then this is going to open the terminal for us, the console, the terminal for us, such that when we reboot my voice business here, we will be watching the boot process, and then we can break and then enter our commands. But by default, this VNC is not able to open the terminal for my voice business until you log on to the EX controller and set a VNC ID for my voice business on the EX. So when you log on to the EX, you are going to see that my voice business will be running with a VNC ID of -1. VNC ID, which is equal to -1. So when it is -1, it means the terminal cannot be accessed. It means the terminal is disabled. So we must change this ID to a 1, a positive 1, so that we enable the terminal. Once you have enabled the terminal, then we should be able to connect with our VNC. So now let's go ahead and log into EX controller and let us log into the EX controller and enable VNC. So I am going to log on to the EX controller, which is 192.168.1.3. So once we log in, we are going to go to System and VM. So we are going to click on VM, and we are going to see that my voice business VM is this one. This is my voice business VM. We can see that it is running because it is the state here is started, and we can see the VNC ID is -1, which means -1 means console is disabled. We can also look at that here. This is also confirmed here, where the VNC ID is also -1 here. So we are supposed to change it here from -1 to a 1. Let us go ahead and do that. I will change this to a 1, and then I am going to click on apply. So once I click on apply, it's going to give me a response. The response is saying I need to restart the VM to apply the configuration. So let's go ahead and do that. We can do that by stopping the VM, stopping the MIVB VM. Then when it is stopped, number 2, restart it. The MIVB VM. So this is what we are going to do. We are going to stop it by this square. This square stops it, and this play button starts it. So let's go ahead and stop it. So I am going to stop it here, and once I do that, when you look at the status here, it is saying state, it is stopping. So we need to frequently refresh until this shows us stopped, until we come to a point where it is written stopped here. So let us wait. I will try and refresh again now by clicking on VM. It is still stopping. Let's wait a bit. Okay, I am going to refresh again. Yes, and now it is saying stopped. As you can see, state here is stopped, and these are my voice business. So at this point, we are going to start the VM by clicking on the play button. Let's go ahead and do that. I'll click on the play button, and so once I do that, it is saying starting. The state is starting, and these are my voice business VM. So we have to wait for it to complete starting until it writes started here. Okay, let me try and refresh. Yes, it is saying started now. So we are in luck. It is saying started. It is started. So when it is started like this, we can then log out of the EX controller. We no longer need the EX controller. We can log out of the EX controller, and now we are going to open our VNC viewer. And when you open our VNC viewer, we are going to connect to the EX controller IP address 2 1. This one is our VNC ID for my voice business, which we created in the EX controller. This is our VNC ID for my voice business. So let us go ahead and do that. I'll open up my VNC viewer, and I'm going to go to 192.168.1.3:1. I do that, and this, what we are now seeing, is the console window. This is the console window. This is the console window. So the console window is asking for an application record ID, which I'm just going ahead to cancel for now. We are not interested in that, so I'll click on cancel, and then we are left with our terminal. What we are seeing here is the terminal console, the terminal console. This is the console. This is where we are going to log in with the user, which is equal to root, and password, which is equal to the root password. So you can see I'm going to log in here, and I'm going to demonstrate how the console stays open when we have reboot my voice business. It doesn't disconnect. I'll just go ahead and say log in as root, password, okay, we've logged in now. You can see we are logged in as root. You can see here it's saying root. We are logged in as root. So let me just clear the screen. Let me clear the screen so that we are clean. So you can see from here I can say reboot in progress, but we are not losing our console window, our console connection. If it was an SSH connection, at this point we would lose the connection, but we want to hold on to the connection because we want to see the most important thing that we want to look at now. When the system starts booting, we want to see what is the Linux version that it is using. This is the MSL version, either MSL 11 or MSL 12. If it's MS11, the procedure to reset server manager password is different from when we are on MSL12. So here we are on Mitel Standard Linux 12. I hope you saw that. It was too quick, but I've seen that it is MSL 12. So I'm going to demonstrate in the next video how to recover password for the server manager for MSL 12. So that was the most important part that we wanted, and that part we can't easily get it when we are SSHing. I hope this has been informative. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video where we will be recovering the server manager password. Enjoy.